We're live.
I just reloaded.
Good.
I have 2 extras.
Awesome. Oh, 360 in it? I like that.
Ooh. We've been doing bar rescue in 360.
You have.
We're the first series of our type to do it. And we've been posting it online. They're not doing a great job promoting it. Should probably let you guys do that, but they're not doing a great job.
Interesting. Like 360 in general has not taken off. Like YouTube and Facebook, like, it's not there yet.
Yeah,
you know, it's not in the
technology.
It's not
really.
the technology.
Bar
there.
rescue, they can walk through the bar and look
So
around and
cool.
look at the remodel. So we do a before and after, and the
I get it.
content makes
What
sense.
are you on?
Live IG.
IG. Okay, great. All right. No, it makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be
It's
getting any traction.
Consumers haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah.
Like they just haven't gotten there. 257.
You got it.
All right. Ready? Hey, everybody, this is Gary Vaynerchuk, and this is episode 257 of the Ask Gary V show. And I've got to say this, and a lot of you who watch or listen to this show know, I just don't really consume a lot of content. I produce a shitload of content, and then I watch how people engage with it. But I'm very fired up to have our guest today because I'm besides watching the New York Jets, I think his television show is one of the few things I've consumed in the last 3 years. And I go on binges, right? Because they play it back to back to back to back. I remember I was in Canada once. It was Canada once. And I stayed up from like midnight to 4 in the morning, back to back to back on who knows what channel they are. John, I'm really excited you're here.
Great to be here, guy. Big time.
Why don't you tell the Vayner Nation who you are and a little bit about your career, and then we'll answer some questions. I'm really excited you're here.
Good to be here. You know, looking at your background, you and I have a similar background. So, you know, I didn't start in the wine business. I started in the restaurant business.
Yes.
And I started as a bartender.
Yes.
Became a general manager.
Yes.
Hotel manager, resort food and beverage director, resort general manager. Did pretty much everything in the industry that I could. And I've been giving speeches at the nightclub and bar convention and all over the world.
Because you have that kind of personality.
I do, and I give very good speeches,
Right.
and get paid well for
Yep.
it. So I was giving a speech at a convention. Somebody comes up to me one day and says, "John, you should be on TV." So I wrote up a little piece called "On the Rocks." Went to a friend of mine who ran Paramount Television.
Yes.
Sat down in the office, and he looks at me and goes, "John, you will never be on television. You're too old. You're not good looking enough."
Yes.
He goes, "Forget it." So I walked out of that office with a vendetta.
Yeah, chip
So
on
I
your
went,
shoulder.
I shot my own sizzle reel.
No, you did not.
I did. Produced my own write-up of the show on my own. Brought the sizzle reel to 4 different production companies. Within 5 days, Gary, I had 4 offers. The network picked up the show 4 days after I signed with a production company. And in less than a year from that guy saying to me, "You will
You'll
never be on
television."
television," the series premiered.
What's that guy's name?
David Goldsmith.
Hey, David Goldsmith. You fucking lost this one. But he's a
Completely.
Good guy?
So I must
Good guy?
tell you, a good guy, but I did send him a dozen black roses.
I love it.
You know, just to button up the whole issue properly.
John, for the couple, we have a lot of, people who might have not, what's the show, like, how many seasons, what network?
Sure, it's on Spike. We just finished
Which is going to be rebranded, right?
In January 8th, Spike gets rebranded as the Paramount Network.
That's right.
Which we're really excited about.
Yep.
You're in the know, Gar.
Yep.
And I started the show 6 years ago. We've done 147 episodes. I just signed for 20 more, and we're getting into the record category in business transformation shows. Almost nobody's crossed 150. But Kitchen Nightmares never crossed 100. So, none of these shows really make it past 100 episodes. So now, last season, about 90 million Americans watched it. It's now on 5,000 channels in 5 continents in 6 languages. And if you think it's intense to watch me in English, you should see me in Peruvian. It's something to see.
How many of you have seen the show? Yep. Dunk, they don't play this in Sweden?
No, I'm from Sweden.
Okay, no worries.
No, we're in Norway.
You're in Norway?
We
You
are
need
in
to
Norway.
move to Norway.
Speak Norwegian?
I do not speak Norwegian,
But
but
he-
I believe it's
but
in
he-
English in
But he
Norway, actually.
translates.
I don't think you can be aggressive in Norwegian, so like...
So
Gotcha.
John,
I'll figure it out. Yeah.
John, before we get into some Q&A, the thing that stood out for me and probably why I associated with it, besides the fact that we've got type A personalities and things. Forget about the personality shtick, style, vibe, DNA. Take that completely over here. You're practical.
Yeah.
You're an operator.
And it's real.
I'm aware. Because I am only, I think a lot of times people can get caught up in my sizzle, but it's the steak that I'm most proud of. Yeah. I'm an operator. Yeah. Like, I think of it as a business. Like, I can't, not that I can't lose, you can always lose, but I stay in my little narrow lane. I know what I know. And when I watched it, even with editing for television, I'm like, Fuck, that's right. Yeah, he's right. Like, and you do a lot of EQ stuff.
I do.
Like, you know, I have 800 people that work for me. What probably also attracted me, and I'm like, I like this guy. And whenever we first connected on Twitter, I'm like, yeah, I want to get to know this dude. Is you operate, and it's about margins, and it's about shelf play, all the stuff that I grew up in the liquor business, right? It was all that stuff. But it was also like, oh, that manager's insecure, so you're finished. So that, like, it's, to me, the thing I'm most proud of is the content that I produce at scale. The reason I'm excited that people, when they watch it, is if they can get over certain things with themselves, with me, even my style, they'll win. If they listen, they'll win.
Yes.
And I believe that your show and you are powerful for that, because I do believe when I watch it, as a person that will always win in business, if they listen, they will win.
Well, you know what I've learned is every failing business has a failing owner, Gary.
It's always
that's
the
a
owner's
given.
fault.
So if they have a failing owner, after 147 bar rescues, you know, guys like you and I learn everything about success.
Yep.
What do you do to be successful?
Yep.
The blocks of
Yep.
success, the
Yep.
planks of success, blah, blah, blah. After 147 bar rescues, Gary, I've seen a depth of failure nobody's seen.
Yeah. How many, John, real quick, I apologize to interrupt you. How many, so I just did this show also for Apple, Planet the Apps, where I'm helping these app developers, right? I was blown away by how much I gave a shit. Like, I didn't like it. I didn't like when I was mentoring them, like, this sucks. Like, I really want them to win, and they're not that they weren't listening, actually, that's not true. It was more just like I wanted them to win. How long do you, when you shoot an episode, like, how long are you in there?
4 days.
Like, when you hear you've done 6 seasons, right?
Yeah.
When you hear through the grapevine, a random email, just when your team hears, when you hear like, oh, Taco Johnny's became Hot Rod Johnny's, and now it failed, hurts?
Not
or
really.
or you're like a meritocracy and like you're okay, you understand
Not
that's the
real.
game.
And
Tell
I
me,
care.
I get it. I know
I
you do.
care. Their houses are on the
I get it.
line. I'm
I
their
get it.
last chance.
Yeah.
Their
Go
weeks.
ahead.
They have enough money for weeks.
Go ahead.
There's an independent website that tracks my success.
Is that right?
It's called Bar Rescue Updates, and it was started to assassinate me. But now they're pretty honest and they're pretty straight about it. They have
Do you
us
genuinely
tracking-
believe it was started to like razz you?
It was, because I watched it when it first started. They're very fair. They have an advertiser base, and they do before and after Yelp reviews and stuff. So they have
That's
me
cool.
tracking at a 75 to 80% success factor.
That's amazing. Considering, look, you're at 100% success factor for a guy like me. Just so you know, you're at 100%. It's just basic. It's the basic. It's basic to us because we've known it our whole lives. You're at 100% success rate to me. Your advice is always right. You're just at the mercy of Rick.
Yes. And what happens with these people is they've made decisions that way for a long, long time, and they get stuck in this route.
Three
You
out
know
of
that.
4 of them tasted what it should look like and had the ability to stay the course is phenomenal.
But why is that? And
Tell
that's
me.
worth picking apart for a
Let's go
second.
ahead.
The 2 most powerful
Andy, you ready to
motivators
jump
we have is fear
Yes.
and pride.
Yes.
So let's say you have a failing bar. I'll start to play with pride because I got to change you to change this business.
100%.
So I'm going to work pride. How would you feel if we're successful? How do you imagine?
Great. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, that doesn't work. Now fear. What happens when you lose your fucking house?
Yeah, you're a loser.
Look at this picture of your
100%.
kid. What happens when you can't?
100%.
So I got to make them terrified to change.
Do you guys in real life versus TV life, which I think you've got a real show, but I assume, and tell me if I'm wrong, a lot of bars fail because a lot of times the owner likes to drink.
Yes.
Cliche,
it's almost
right?
like if you're into drugs,
Right?
becoming a pharmacist.
Right,
I mean,
right?
it makes no sense.
It's real,
whatsoever.
right?
Yes.
Now, you guys try
Or too
hard.
social.
You guys tried, right? You guys try, right, buddy, right? You guys try to filter out that one variable, right?
We do.
Yeah,
You know,
that would make sense. That's just smart.
What I want to do is I want to tell stories that people want to hear.
100%.
So family dramas,
Yeah.
partnership
Yeah.
dramas, it's
Those are real.
intense.
Those
Yeah.
are real.
And it's very Shakespearean. Guy in trouble, resists change, transforms himself, redeems himself in the end. It's really very Shakespearean if you think about it.
Oh, are you kidding? And it's great TV, right? Like you pick up the tile and there's fucking worms everywhere and the fuck like.
I wanna tell you a
shit,
story.
There's slugs everywhere. What the fuck?
I want to tell you a story I've never told before.
Yes.
So in the
guys, we have
fourth-
exclusives here on episode 257 of the Ask Gary V Show. Go ahead.
The 4th episode of Bar Rescue was shut down by the network.
Really?
And it was shut down by the network because I was doing my thing and a network executive came on set and tried to fake something.
And now you lost your shit.
And I told him to go fuck himself.
100%.
Made him sit in a
You
McDonald's
know who I
for
do that
3
to all
hours.
the time? D-Rock.
Well, I can see, just
he's a
taking
real-
one look
he's
at him,
a-
I can see why you would do
He's a real
that.
piece of shit. He tries to tell me what to do. Go ahead.
So finishing the story, so they shut down the production. Now the senior VP of the network flies into Chicago to talk to me, and he's walking me around the block.
He's like,
and he
John,
says,
you
"Listen,
gotta
John,
understand.
you can't tell the vice president of the network to go fuck himself. You just can't do that."
Right.
So I took control of the show. They never did it again, and I've told them to go fuck themselves now about 4 or 5 other times.
Makes sense.
Now they're wonderful, but what happens is, and I'm not putting them down at all. They're
I know.
great
I know.
people.
Listen, they have their job. You have
Production wants
yours.
to know what's going to happen before it happens.
You can't.
And I won't do that.
I can tell.
So there's a push and pull that's constantly going on between us to protect that reality. And I'm guessing you can relate to it.
Well,
but
I
if it
would
wasn't
say-
for the reality, we wouldn't have lasted this long.
100%. And I do think, I wouldn't have you sitting here. I'm stunned at you guys. That story makes a ton of sense to me because being empathetic to that universe, you guys have been able to pull it off. It's really cool. I'm glad
Thank
you're
you.
here. Let's let's get some questions going.
Great.
So Andy's gonna get some questions. We're gonna answer some of them. But before we do that, where'd you grow up?
Great Neck, Long Island.
And
Not
so-
far from here.
Please, John, please tell me you're a Jets fan.
I am a Jets fan.
Tell the truth. Don't bull.
No, right-
I will get crazy on
I'm
you
going
right
to show
now.
my age. Back to the Joe Namath days.
Well, I get
I'm a
that.
Jets fan.
So how old were you in January 12th, 1969?
In 1969, I would
January
have been
12th.
17.
So you really were in a prime year when they won
That's
it.
what I'm saying.
Were you walking around?
I remember
like,
it big
yeah,
time. I
of
remember
course.
Miami Street. I remember it big time.
Were you a Knicks fan?
So I was a Knicks fan as well.
Were you
but
a
those
Mets
were the
fan?
days of DeBusschere
Of
and
course.
Clyde.
And you were a Mets fan too?
And I
Or
was
a
a
Yankee?
big Mets fan because I lived on Long Island. We would take
Right.
the Long Island Railroad to
So,
Shea Stadium. We
John-
used to watch Kingman blasts that would stay in the
So
air
literally-
like 4 minutes.
69-70, you literally won an NBA, NFL, and World Series
That's
championship.
correct.
You were the king of the world.
I thought so.
Yeah, I get
But
it.
how do you not be a Jets fan after going through that at 17 years old? You're a Jet fan for life. after
Namath
that.
was like he's like
Unbelievable.
McGregor times 1,000.
And cool as hell.
Well, that's the point. McGregor's pretty cool. Who's this?
Nick from New Jersey.
You sure? Because it doesn't sound like it's dialing anymore. Nick?
Yeah,
Bro, what's up, man? What part of Jersey are you from?
Wildwood.
Wildwood. man.
Wildwood.
I spent the summer there once for 5 minutes. 'cause
A
I
lot
had
of people
work all the
did,
time.
right?
There you go. I figured you'd know it from where you're from.
Say hello to John.
Hey,
How
man.
you doing, John? I saw you on there. Yep.
What's your question, my friend?
Just started a new restaurant, and it's funny you have him on there because I
No
obviously
shit.
didn't know that.
Yes.
But the best way to get it out there without spending a fortune.
Where is it before John asks his questions?
It's in Wildwood, which is a resort town.
Of
We
course.
only got a few months to do what we do.
Yep.
Are you open already?
I had a restaurant and I had a restaurant before.
Perfect.
With a partner, I walked away from that with nothing. Threw
Yep.
everything against the wall.
Yep.
I know it'll stick. I got faith in the risk, but I need to get it out there.
Okay, so in your business, let me get to the point for you. In your business, you got to pull the eye, then pull the body, then pull their wallet. You don't get the wallet until you have the eye and the body first. So you got to look at the exterior, the front of your business, and make sure you're drawing attention. Just off the top of my head, what is this food item you're known for?
Actually, burgers, gourmet burgers.
So you're putting out the best burgers in the world. I would create 8 or 10 picket signs. Wooden poles with cardboard signs. Say world's best hamburgers. Prices unfair to competition. Buns softest in town. Best burger or it's free. I would positive picket in front of your restaurant for 5 consecutive days. Make sure people see you, understand your commitment to quality. It'll make a difference. Hopefully the newspaper will pick it up with a photo.
They will. They already did last year when I was with the partner, and I was the operational one, so they'll be back.
So look, I think my version of that, which is all right, and definitely the way I grew up, is I want you to go to Instagram and type in Wildwood, New Jersey, and search it and see the 9 trending pictures on Instagram right now. And I want you to either DM or comment the individuals that are there, because usually if they're one of the 9 most popular, they're the people that are over-indexing, have the biggest audience. And I want you to one-on-one engage with them at scale, and then really win your a lot of times we talk about hashtags on Instagram, but I think that there's a big white space to search by location and engage with the people in that location. I think you could basically pull eyes and bodies into your restaurant by engaging virtually through people that are putting up content virtually, especially these 3 months, and you could do it hand-to-hand combat digitally.
Wow. Okay, I'm new to the internet game too. I gotta do stuff on.
Well, I got good news. It's not a fad. The shit's real.
Well, thank you, Gary.
You're welcome, my man.
I appreciate
Take
it.
care. Talk to you
All right.
soon. Good guy. Look at the Jersey flavor. I love. That was some East Coast shit right there for everybody who's watching. Let's get another call. Talk to me about your journey on social. Are you doing your Twitter? Is your team? It's okay. I just want to know.
We started doing it, and honestly, you know, in our profession, we're in a bar business, we're in
Yes.
a hospitality
Yes.
business. We're not in the social media
I
business.
get it.
So we've gone through 4 or 5 different agencies.
Understood.
And found the process extremely frustrating.
Understood.
So we brought it in-house, we've taken it out of
Out-house,
house. We
yep.
brought it in-house,
Yep.
we've taken it out
Yep.
of house. We've never parked it in a place where I can actually feel good about it, to be honest
Understood.
with you.
Are
And
you-
it's tough to keep
are
it in
you-
my voice as well,
Are
Gary.
you just adamantly against doing it yourself? Is it hard? It doesn't come natural?
No, it's that I travel 40 weeks a year. I shoot 12 hours a day, and it's hard to allocate the time to do it. On the other hand, you'll tell me, John, you're
course.
crazy not to allocate
Yeah,
the
and
time
I'm also
to do
going to
it.
tell what you tell the other business owners, right? In a 2017 environment with, what's ironic is you're so built for it, it's scary.
But I'm in a bar guy. You're in a social media
You know what's
space.
funny?
So
No.
I've never perfected it. And
Yeah,
honestly,
but you know what you are? You're a communicator. You're a bar guy who happens to be a phenomenal communicator. It's why you spoke in the first place, which led to the TV show in the first place. I genuinely believe, in the same way that you've taught operators the cadence of doing the right thing, that if you actually bit the bullet and you did it for a week or two, it would come so unbelievably natural based on your DNA. I really mean it.
and just do it in a casual, intimate sense.
Be you.
In the moment.
I don't know. Tell people to go fuck themselves.
Just in
I
the
mean, whatever.
moment.
Whatever. Like, look, you can't lose. And I think once you actually taste it for real, it'll come as natural to you as it came to me. Because guess what? I was 32 years old. It wasn't like I grew up with this shit. I was on a computer 5 minutes in my entire life until I was 20. Like, it's about communication, and you've got that pouring out of your fucking eyes.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. You've inspired me.
Well, thank you.
I'm going to pick this up tomorrow. I'm going to start doing this.
Fired up.
Yeah, no,
You're
no.
pumped.
So-
you are pumped. You are so happy with me right now.
He is. He's been pushing me to do this for a long time.
You're gonna kill it. On Twitter, you're gonna kill it.
It's interesting how I can be comfortable in front of 90 million Americans
That's
on
right.
TV, but that phone and the
Yeah, it
social
makes
media
sense.
environment,
It makes
I'm not.
sense. And you know this, right? We're great at our lanes, but we know that we're not as comfortable in other lanes. I just know that it's the context of it, because your ability in it is going to dominate. You're going to find yourself on Wi-Fi on the plane, engaging on Twitter left and right. I mean, asking you should have.
Now, I engage in Twitter, I engage
Yep.
in Facebook,
Yep.
and I type and I
Yep.
answer as many as I can.
You'll kill with
But what
that.
I'm not doing is I'm not using my camera very often,
Yeah,
and I'm
you know-
not going live very
I'll tell
often.
you where you. Don't worry about live for a minute. You know where you can crush? I would die, and a bunch of people watching would die to follow this. As you're walking through the airport, you see a restaurant front facing. You take a picture and you leave your 2 cents. You know how many people would love that?
That's a good idea.
Great coloring on the letter. Shit signage. Got it?
Yeah,
You'll
it's a
dominate
great idea.
that.
It's a great
you
idea.
got content everywhere. Listen, I'm okay
So I
with
can
this
be a
shit.
dick all day long and critique people.
Can you imagine? And on the flip side, you know the way the show's edited. I think you can create a second path, which is on social. Maybe you go the path of like showing things that you think are done well. Because first of all, let's think about this. You're walking through New York City. You see something you think is well. You take a picture. You go, "This was extremely well executed." When that bar sees that, they share it. This, that. You see where I'm going?
I do. It's
Yeah.
brilliant. It's brilliant.
Well, who's coming in now?
Kevin from Chicago.
Kevin from Chicago. Let's see what Kevin from Chicago. I'm fired up now, John. I think you're gonna dominate.
got me fired up.
I think you're gonna hit me up in like 4 months and be like, "Fuck, I should have done
Yeah.
it." You know, Kevin.
Hello,
Kevin, this is Gary V, and you're in the Ask Gary V show.
Gary, my man.
How are you?
Amazing. How are you?
Good, bro. You're on with John. Can you say hello?
Hey, John. What's going on?
Hey, buddy, how are you?
Kevin, you're chill as fuck.
Yeah, man. Do we wake you up?
Did you smoke like a fucking fat blunt? Like, what's going on here, Kevin? You're chill, bro.
I'm trying my best not to freak out right now.
Okay, got it,
Okay.
got it. What's your question?
All right, so my brother's 13th birthday is coming up in July.
Okay.
And I was wondering if you had any ideas, like, what kind of gift to give him that would be, like, very good for his life and life-changing.
Okay, so what's his story at 13 right now?
Loves basketball, starting to go through puberty, voice changing.
Is he on is he on Instagram?
No, he's not. He's on Snapchat. They'll love Snapchat.
So I have an idea. For his 13th birthday, I think you should have him create his Instagram account. And my friend here, Dunk, who has 2 million followers in the basketball space, 2.2 million, is going to give him a shout out and send people his way.
That's great.
He'll shit his pants.
And link to his favorite players and create a whole community around
John,
it.
it's better than that. He'll get like 4,000 followers on Instagram and not know what to do with himself. Kevin, that's what I think.
He'd freak out.
It's a done deal. Email me at Gary@VaynerMedia. Dunk sells these things for like $50,000. I just gave you $50,000, Kevin.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Don.
You're welcome. Dunk.
Very excited. He was very excited about it. Indeed.
Kevin, thanks for calling. I mean, we just made a 13-year-old's life. I hope, Kevin,
great.
if you're Gary@VaynerMedia.com, Dunk, you're the best.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it.
I know you are, because you're the best. You're a good dude. While Andy's getting another call, what in your career growing up, what was the best run organization that you worked in before you went on to the next part? What was the place where you like really learned how to, a lot of places I'm sure you learned how not to do it, but where was a place that really, who was a great operator? What was a great experience for you early on?
Yeah, it wasn't somebody I worked for, it was somebody I worked with.
Okay.
And you'd be surprised by the answer. And it's going back a number of years, but Disney.
That's not surprising to me at all.
I mean,
Keep talking.
Disney's
I want people to
commitment
hear
to
this.
employee orientation. I mean, Disney, you don't wear uniforms, you wear costumes. You don't work at a station, you work on a stage. Every door is a stage door to the front of the house, to the back of the house. You never break character. Their depth of training was incredible. Even the janitor, the guy who sweeps up, they knew that he would get more questions than anyone. So he knew everything, the answer.
Interesting.
Their depth of training and commitment.
You said you
was
worked
wonderful.
with.
Yes.
Under what context? What was the story back then?
I'm not permitted to publicly
Understood,
say, just
understood.
for non-disclosure.
No worries.
But we worked with them on some
That's awesome.
projects. Yeah.
Sounds really cool. And what about early on? What brought you into the industry? Just like literally just making $2 an hour? Like you were just like that's
No,
how
I
you
was
stumbled?
going into politics, believe it or not. I went to University of Denver, started tending bar, but I had two loves. Politics and cultural anthropology, which you'll find interesting.
course, that's
So
what I
I
trade
love
on.
the study of primates and animal societies, which are just like us. So I've learned to analyze people, and my crew calls it Dr. John, but I can analyze somebody in seconds because
believe
their
you.
landing point defines everything.
100%.
Do you land in selfish interest? Do you land in gracious interest? Where do you land? Because where you land is truly you. Then you try to fix it after that.
That's right.
So it's all very primal, and,
Yeah, no,
and
it's
that's helped
interesting.
me a lot in my other careers.
Clearly, I mean, I brought up earlier, even through the editing process of a television show, it was interesting and obvious to me that you traded on EQ, what I would call EQ, emotional intelligence. It's all
do.
people behavior. Like I've got a very good read on everybody who I interact with very quickly as well,
Yeah.
predicated on just, it's pretty basic. If it comes natural to you, if you've learned it, things of that nature. You got something?
Yep.
What's your problem over here? Going a little slow.
I'm just waiting for you guys.
Respect. Who's this?
Glenn from Vista, California.
Glenn from California? Okay, let's see what Glenn's got for us, John. Glenn, you're on the Ask Gary V show.
Oh, shoot. This is crazy.
It sure is. How's California?
Oh, it's freaking amazing. See, the weather out here is crazy.
What's your question?
So, all right.
Well, first, please say hello to John T.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Gary. How you doing, man?
Doing great. So, I do a YouTube channel. I have about 24K subscribers. I have about 50K on my Facebook. Doing pretty well.
Yep.
Only been doing it for a year and a half. It's called Belief in Fatherhood. You know what, you can shout it out. But anyway, I just did a deal with Apple. Apple was like, hey, I love your picture. I love this picture that you use on Instagram. It'd be dope if we could use it for our campaign worldwide. So literally, there are 90 billboard-sized pictures of my son around the world.
That's amazing.
I'm trying to figure out, yeah, it's great. So I know that this is just like it's a cool thing, you know what I'm saying, to happen, but I know it doesn't really give me anything besides the money that we got off top, you know,
Right.
which is cool. But I'm trying to figure out how to leverage this opportunity into something bigger and to put some more brands. You know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're
Guess where he is?
saying. Where?
No, in other words, you
Oh.
could have some type of an online activity that's interactive where you could guess where he is, locate him, and something along those kind of lines to create engagement.
So,
Not bad?
So, yeah, I mean, so what, real quick, how old's the child?
He's 4.
So
He's adorable.
I'm sure he's adorable. I mean, so it's interesting. So one more time, because I want to make sure I heard this right. Apple obviously licensed the image from you that they saw online through what? Through Facebook or Instagram? Just I want to get all the details
Instagram.
here. Okay.
Through a freaking hashtag. Only thing I ever hashtag.
Wild. And they bought the rights to the photo, obviously, and they're using it in how many billboards and how many markets? I want to hear it one more time.
90 different billboards.
Across around the world. And so you're saying to yourself, okay, my 4-year-old son is on 90 billboards. You took the photo?
I took the photo.
And you're thinking about how do I leverage this opportunity, right?
Right. And keep in mind, like, though I have very low numbers, like, 24K isn't a lot. If I put up a video for an ad on Facebook, it gets 2 or 3 million views. You know what I'm saying? So I can create very heartfelt stuff for the black community, for church folk and stuff like that. But I'm trying to figure out how to present this to brands better, because I have all these working relationships, but I can't get real money. You know what I'm saying?
Of course I know, because brands oftentimes are paying for distribution and are commoditizing out creative, and you're playing in a creative world, and obviously you've shown some distribution capabilities. Let's take it a step back. What bucket do you want to put this talent into? Like, what do you want to build? Do you want to build an agency? Do you want to build a product? I think one of the things that, back to the way, the reason John's shaking his head now, these are the practical questions. I think the model of I want to get brands to pay me more for branded posts on social networks is fine, and I think is an emergingly massive market, but you're also at the vulnerability of the platforms, the terms of service changing, the market behaviors. I think the question becomes, what do you want to do with your creative talents? Are you trying to build a service business? Are you trying to build a product business? Are you trying to build a personal brand where you
father advocacy business?
That's right. Like,
it could be something on those lines as well.
Where do you want to take it? I think you have to make those decisions on where you want to. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I want to be, the thought leader on parenting 5 years from now. Everything I do with these vlogs and these videos only shows my validity and how I can speak on these topics as a father from the father perspective and as a husband. So 6-7 years from now, when CNN is having some issue with parenting, they can bring in and talk to me about it.
I understand.
But in the short term, I need to make some money.
I understand. Of course I do.
Well, advocacy and money don't always travel hand in hand together. So, I know from one, and this is just my view, if you want to monetize this, then, you need money for charity. No money, no charity. So you start with the monetization and then you build to the advocacy. I don't think it's the other way around. Would you agree, Gar?
Yes, but I think what he's asking is a little bit interesting what he's up to. So real quick, you've been able to make some money from brands on creating content on your personal profiles?
Yes, sir.
How much? Like $500 a post? Like that kind of numbers?
900.
Yep.
Yeah,
so John, do you know this phenomenon? There's we believe that it's a $2 to $3 billion market of people with large social network accounts, mainly on Instagram and Facebook, where brands will pay them for, in essence, commercials, like a post, advertorial.
Yes.
As the way we grew up with it, right?
I've had those requests on my page.
I'm sure. So I think there's a couple ways to do this. I've got a very rogue answer for you. Are you Are you trying to make this your full-time living? Do you have a job currently as well?
I came from hip hop. I'm trying to get out of hip hop. I'm moving toward fatherhood because it's
understood. But when you say you came from hip hop, do you have a job right now, or are you trying to live your life through?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna throw you for a curve. How old are you?
I'm 32.
So, when you become the person that the big media companies in 6 or 7 years call for fatherhood in your genre, things of that nature, is your plan to get $1 million book advance, to get paid $40,000 to give speeches? Are you looking to ultimately? Okay, I would tell you that I think you should get a job, and I think you should get a job for somebody who's a personal brand. I think you should look under the hood. The great advantage, the thing that allowed John and I to sit here today and have all these people watching and listening, is we did the thing for decades before we talked about the thing. Yeah. I believe that if you got a $45,000, an $80,000, a $9,000, I'm not going to speak to your finances, but I believe if you worked the 9 to 6, 9 to 7 to be the social media guy for any personal brand, whether it's in your genre or not, and it probably won't be in your genre, an athlete, an actress, a politician, if you could see somebody, I'm a big fan of working for somebody who's doing the thing that you want to do. You get to see everything under the hood. And I would love to see you pay your bills and learn the do's and the don'ts, and then use that platform to build yourself up. I'm a very big advocate of the advice that I'm giving. And let me be clear. I know it's taking a step backwards to take 2 steps forward. A lot more fun to kind of sell your $900 post here, your $800 post there. But I genuinely believe that a year or 2 of that work could become disproportionately powerful, because what you're going to do is, I love when I see what Dunk does or he sees what I do, and then you work it on your account. Like, it's incredible to like see the do's and don'ts. And I think that there's a way for you to possibly get that job, and then build off of that. And that's just one way to go about it. By the way, the other way is to keep scrapping. You just
Also, I just got to say something. As a father of a 28-year-old, I'm just not sure you're an authority of being a father when you have a 4-year-old. Talk to me when he's 15.
This is the thing. Like, people they see me as successful because they see how well behaved my children are, but they don't realize that I still have to raise a 30-year-old. You know what I'm saying? Like, he has to get to 30 in order for me to be considered a success. So I'm kind of in a weird position where people want to see what it's like to be proof that fatherhood is even something that they want, because they don't believe in it, because some people don't have their fathers around. So
Yeah, no.
It's proof.
Listen, I think John's right, and I think you're right? Which is why I created that whole genre of document, don't create. All these people faking it, saying I'm a great father, instead of, look, here's
the proof.
I've been really pushing my audience, John, to like, hey, faking that you're an expert at bars because you worked in one for a year and you want to be known as that because it sounds cool or it seems like you can make money that way is fine. You're going to trick a couple of losers. Winners are going to look at, I mean, you as a winning
I'll see through in a minute.
You jumped in right away and said, wait a minute, bro, your kid's 4. Right. But what I think he's doing, and culturally he's painting a picture. That's right. He's like, I have a 4-year-old, and that's where I'm at now. So listen, I think you've got 2 options. A couple of options. You've got probably way more than that. I think the thing that you can do is deploy massive patience, produce far more content that you're producing now, hustle more, produce tons of content, and build a very slow burn for 7-8 years. I did 5 episodes a day of Wine Library TV in 2006 for, I don't know, 4 years before it kind of like meant a little something. 4 years every day, pumping out that show daily, 5 days a week. I think a lot of you in my audience know, a lot of you have just discovered me in January. I've been putting out content on the internet every single day for a decade. At scale, successfully. So I think you either deploy patience and make your 900 here, your 100 here, your 500 here. 1 month is 4,000. You feel like you got it. The next month it goes to $80. You're like, what the fuck? Or you take the route that I painted first, which is, do you go and get a job as a social media content person for a very famous athlete or actor or actress so you could see it at a higher plane, so you see what it tastes like at the $10,000 post, at the $100,000 speaking engagement, so that you're like, okay, that's what it takes to get there. Got it? Or you do both.
Got it.
It's funny. That's the same advice I would give to somebody who asked that question about the bar business.
I believe you, man.
Go to work for the best one you can find in
100%.
town. Work for an example and learn from that example. Same deal.
Glenn, I appreciate you calling, man. Good luck to you. Keep hustling.
Appreciate it, brother. Thank you.
John, what's interesting, right? Like, it's fun for me to hear you say that right now, because literally, I mean, I think that's generally what attracted to watch 4 hours. I always watched around Thanksgiving and Christmas, too. I felt like they were always doing marathons. I was watching my family. I'm like, let's all watch this. Like, it was, it's just, like, it's unbelievable how if people deployed patience, they could get what they want. They just don't want to. They want passive income quick.
Well, there is no quick. It took you a long time to monetize your work,
no,
didn't it?
Nobody's got quick.
Yeah.
Nobody's. Beyonce's been dancing, fucking singing. She's like 4. Like every athlete outside of the super freaks, like 88% of them. It's the hard. And by the way, there's the 400 best football, baseball, and basketball players on natural talent aren't in the league because they didn't work hard enough.
Well, you don't become a household name for no reason.
I believe that too.
In almost no case.
I'm a big believer.
It takes a lifetime to get to that point
and
and
it's
position
talent
your brand
and hard
that way.
work.
You
like,
bet.
Listen, I could
and
work
substance.
100%. I could work really, really hard at baseball, like real hard, 18 hours a day. It wasn't going to happen. Yeah. Like there's a little self-awareness in it. That's why I love business and entrepreneurship. It gives everybody a little bit more of a chance. It's not a physical attribute. I mean, it's a mental one, but one more. Last one. Let's do this. Who's this?
Glenn, sorry.
Oh, Glenn again? No, Chandler?
Oh.
Chandler Parsons?
Chandler Miles from
Okay,
Kentucky.
all right. Understood.
Hello, this is Chandler.
Chandler, this is Gary V on your Ask, and you are on the Ask Gary V show.
Hey, how are you doing?
Doing really well. Please say hello to my phenomenal guest, John.
Hey!
John, what's up, man? How are you?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm doing well. I got to tell you guys, you're both idols of mine, so this is awesome.
Sounds like you're a very smart man.
Yes, you're obviously a man of great taste.
Great, clearly. You are a
Yeah,
winner.
it depends on what day you talk about.
Chandler, you are a winner. What can we help you with?
Yeah, so I run a barbecue restaurant in
This is great.
Lexington, Kentucky, and you guys are marketing geniuses, both of you. So just, what advice do you have for small guys like me, competing with the big guys out there?
John, before you answer that, Chandler, can you give us a little more context? How many years? What kind of revenue? Like, give us something to give you a real answer. I mean, we could give real good answers
Yep.
to that question, but here we are, right? Let's go.
Yep.
Let's go even a little further. Give us a little more context.
How long you open? How much you doing in sales?
Sure. So we started as a food tent a couple years
Nice.
back, worked our way up to a gas station.
Love it.
After that, we actually just closed that location to open our next location, which is a real location now. So, we'll do about $1 million in sales.
Good for you.
So, we've done a lot of social media stuff to this point, but, it seems like, I don't know.
It's been tapped out?
We hit a plateau.
Yeah,
what
happens.
I mean? And we're getting ready to bring a video guy on full time.
Where's your location? Is your how you
on
how
YouTube.
how you feeling about your location?
Our new location is really strong, but I'm one of those guys. Like what we're doing now is plenty to make enough money. The problem is that we're just like I always want more. You know what I mean? I'm always trying to get better. I don't want to get complacent. I really feel like we just hit plateau.
How many cars go by each day? What's your traffic count?
The road we're on, probably 15,000 or so.
Okay, so you're on a road that would qualify for a national franchise. So he's got some good potential based
love
upon
that.
the traffic on that road. I'm going to say something, and I think Gary's going to agree with me. We're not in the content business. We're not in the restaurant business. You're not in the barbecue business. We're all in the business of creating reactions. When a post creates a reaction, it works, doesn't it?
100%.
When it creates no reaction, it doesn't work. So the post isn't the product. The reaction is the product. The post is the vehicle. To you, barbecue isn't a product. Barbecue is a vehicle. The product is a reaction. Are people reacting well? Are they sitting up when the food hits the table? Are their feet tapping to the music you're playing? How are your guests reacting to what you're doing?
Yeah, everything reaction-wise has been fantastic. They're all my mom's recipes, all homemade. We like to joke she was farm to table before it was hip. She grew up on a farm in South Georgia. But yeah, people love the food.
So you got a story.
Reviews online. Yeah, yes,
So
yeah.
you have a story, and the most powerful asset to marketing, particularly to millennials these days, is to have a story. Is that story online? Do people know that story? Your mother's recipe? Are you creating curiosity online and in a marketplace to try your mom's recipes?
I think I'm the guy that does the marketing. I'm probably dropping the ball on not really hammering home the mom side of it.
Not only that, you're not hammering home shit because you haven't posted on Instagram in 4 days.
You are right about that.
I'm aware, and so to me, you hitting a plateau from a marketing standpoint. Like you as somebody who's got such a great piece of you have food for Instagram. Like you've been given a gift. I'm working with people that have concrete companies, like fencing, like doorknobs. You have barbecue food in Kentucky. Like you should be posting 4 times a day on Instagram, right? And you're not. So for me, you haven't tapped out anything. You haven't even started.
But it's even more than that. I'd be posting pictures of the smoker, the product smoking, the raw product, making real quality statements in what you're doing. You've got to create curiosity so people want to walk through the front door and taste it.
And Chandler, when you have a baby that ridiculously cute sitting next to you and working on the business, like this is, wait a minute, you've got barbecue in Kentucky, which allows you to speak about a lot of things like sports and other things. It doesn't have to always be about the food, right? You could talk about the basketball team and things of that nature, the recruits.
You think people
100%, brother. If you literally post and use the hashtag whoever Kentucky recruited, and I promise you 5 of them are superstars, and you use their hashtag of those 5, I promise you that people are going to discover that because they're clicking that hashtag. Kentucky
basketball.
It's
forget
religion.
About it. It is
it's religion. So yeah, I absolutely do. Like when I look at your Instagram, and great job by Andy here, like pulling up your stuff, like we haven't even begun here, right? And you could do one day just on the beans, one day just on the coleslaw, like one day just on the beans, like 4 pieces of content just on the beans. Are the beans good?
Man, that's so easy to do too. I mean, you're 100% right because it's all made from scratch. So the essence of making stuff from scratch is a story.
Chandler, are the beans good?
You can see the path there. Yeah, I mean, they're the best fucking beans on the planet.
Dude, I love beans.
So I got to tell you something. I'm looking at your page right now, and there's a bottom left picture, which I got to tell you guys, is one who takes professional food pictures. That picture sucks. And the reason why is you're showing little unimportant things. You got to come in on the meat. You got to show the juiciness, the thickness of the ribs.
You did a good job here on this one, right? Like, what is that? That's a hush puppy, right?
But you're getting closer to the product. You can see the crisp, the flavor. Try to make these pictures a little closer. Try to get people to connect. Those are okay. But that's almost a little too close. There you go.
That's some shit right there.
Look at the U.S. Air Force. Is there a base nearby?
No, not here.
And this post on May 14th, the one that said Happy Mother's Day, right? You know, you've got the Mother's Day hashtag, but there's no other hashtags that you used, right? You could have.
Right.
So, like, you got to get into best practices, too. And remember, right, you called in. That means you know me. And I always say, watch what I'm doing, not what I'm saying. And, like, you know that I'm treating my Instagram very differently than you're treating your Instagram, right?
Right, yeah.
I mean,
I guess I just had to double down on. I mean, I guess for our market, I'm just not believing in Instagram, but that's probably don't. So I mean, we
it's
do
not.
a
It's
ton of
it's
Facebook advertising and really go into that, but
yeah. I mean, look. It's not about being dumb or not, or it being dumb or not. It's mapping your output to your ambition. You've achieved something incredible. Well, I'll explain. You've achieved something incredible. Most people will never build a business that does $1 million years in revenue, right? And I have no idea about million plus. God bless, right? To me, I just heard from you. You opened this, and let's rewind it. That said, you're still hungry, and like I'm not. Listen, you got a little one at home. I'm not telling you how to do your work-life balance. I'm not telling you. You do you. Here's what I can tell you. By looking at your Facebook and YouTube and Instagram in a 2018 environment around food culture that is completely being dominated by consumption online, I don't think your actions are speaking to you being hungry.
Okay, so what? I know your answers always do everything, right? Yes to everything, but you know, obviously Instagram.
Yes.
What are the 2 other things I can do in 2017 to set us up right for 2018?
So again, I think, you know, watch what I do and not what I say. I think you should be.
Right.
I think you should literally get an intern from a local high school or college if you can't afford it, or if you can afford it, or you have a relative. I think they should literally film you every single day, and you should put out a piece of content for 3-minute, 7-minute, 19-minute video on a day-to-day basis. Lyles Barbecue day-to-day, every single day. From those videos, I think you should do 4 posts on Instagram, 7 on Twitter, 5 on Facebook, and I think you should start a barbecue podcast, Kentucky Barbecue Podcast, and put out a show once a week on audio. Above and beyond working every day and taking care of your little guy. If you're as hungry as you fucking say you are.
But if you were, then you would have posted, and that 4-day gap wouldn't exist because you
That's
posted
right.
before the 4 days.
But John, I'm empathetic. Chandler's deemed that, you know, that's not as important. Facebook ads are working better. And Chandler, you know, what's fun to talk to you is, you know, my spiel, which is like, fine, that's doing better now, but it's also because you're not doing Instagram well.
Right. No, absolutely. You're right about that. We just need to go back to doing some homework and get into practicing. You're 100% right.
I want to add one more thing if I can for you. If you can increase your guest frequency by 1 visit a month, that's a 12 to 15% increase in revenue.
Right.
1 visit more per month is 12 to 15%.
That's huge.
You need to work on that as well. So you need to have the frequency programs in place. You need to have programs to get people that come midweek back on weekends, people that have a propensity to come on weekends, to come back midweek. You need to work this in a more immediacy type of a way. You've got to increase frequency as well, especially in a market like yours where you can only get so many new customers. You got a lot of barbecue in your area. So sometimes it isn't a question of adding more customers. Sometimes it's a question of adding more customers and more frequency. And that's the combo that together will make you much more successful.
There's also an insight to the way you... Go ahead,
really fast.
Yeah.
Really quick.
Go ahead.
In restaurant business, pricing is key. Now, and I know, like, with us being a fast casual restaurant, John, where do you think the price point needs to be average ticket-wise?
Well,
I'm under the belief that because we make everything from scratch, we're priced just a little bit higher, and we do a lot to try to differentiate ourselves with marketing and telling stories on Facebook and things. But we're going to have to do better, obviously. It sounds like. But what price point do you think, and does that play into it at all?
Well, let's say you were selling a steak for half the price of somebody else, and somebody comes up to you and says your steak is too expensive. They're not saying it's too expensive because they pay twice the price for a steak someplace else. They're telling you your steak is not worth the price. So I don't think you should ever lower your price. You need to make the statements that provide the value commensurate with that price. So are you saying the things, recipe, spec, our best ribs are the best in the world, the meatiest, it falls off the bone. You don't have an absolute value issue. You have a value perception issue. And there's a difference between perceived value and absolute value. So I wouldn't lower your prices. I would build my value statements.
And what's interesting about that advice is there was something in the way that you were communicating about Facebook versus Instagram. I would highly recommend you think about branding versus sales. Too many people, when they're right, if that's the case, I could just tell that you're a smart enough man to know a shitload of eyeballs are on Instagram.
Right. Yeah.
So go ahead.
No, I was going to say they are. I guess I don't know. I'm doing that stupid thing where people like justify that it's not happening in their area, but it's happening everywhere else.
Yeah, this whole notion that ran through your mind that nobody in fucking Lexington, Kentucky is on Instagram is ludicrous.
Honestly, what you're doing is you're assuming an excuse, which is worse than making an excuse in and of itself.
Yeah, I mean,
don't assume anything until you know it. That's what's exciting about this environment and the things that you're doing is you can test all of these. And it's not only what you do, it's how you do it, as Gary's saying, to make it more work effectively. But don't make the excuse out of the gate, because then you're going to discount your initiative and your effort before you start.
It's interesting. Sure. I believe so much in driving people to if you've got quality, the cost of acquisition is something that is fascinating to me. So, for example, we're about to do something at Wine Library, my family business. We have a huge gourmet department. I want to continue to build it up. And we're about to create something called Free Food Friday. Like, we're going to give away a fuckload of free food. I don't know, show up between this 3 hours and we're going to give you a $20 food gift certificate. And the truth is, the cost of acquisition for us, that $20, because we know our business is so much better than a lot of other people's business, that we can make that ROI positive in a 2 or 3 year window. I am fascinated. Now, look.
Can I make that
please
work for him?
Go
I
ahead.
do exactly the same thing in a different way.
Go ahead.
If you buy a guest through traditional media,
Yep.
the cost of that guest is typically $40 to $80.
Bingo.
So let's say your rib dinner costs you $5. Food costs, the ribs, the potato, the platter, the whole thing. I would give out 100 coupons for a free rib dinner to people that have never been there before. No restrictions. So now, Gary walks up to the front door with a coupon. I got a coupon for a free rib dinner. Never been here before. Come on in. First of all, I don't pay till they come.
Yep.
Second, I'm paying $4.65, not $40 to $60 per each customer.
That's right.
And then here's something that nobody else will tell you. If somebody goes to a restaurant for the first time and has a flawless experience, the statistical likelihood of them doing a second visit is about 40%. They come back a second time and have a flawless experience, the statistical likelihood of a third visit is still about 42%. The third time they come, the statistical likelihood of a fourth visit is over 70%. So you got to market to 3 visits, not 1. Visit 1, free rib dinner. You sit them down, put a red napkin on the table, not a white one. Identify them as a first-time customer, connect with them, and work to get them back a second time and a third time. Once they're there the third time, you own them.
My man Chandler.
The red napkin thing is genius. Because in a fast casual environment, we're not hitting that table.
Let me give Chandler. Let me.
Can I detail that for him?
Go ahead.
Okay, so you put a red napkin at the table. Gary sits down. He's eating dinner. Now he's getting his free rib dinner. Orders water, costs him nothing. I know he's a first-time customer because he's got a red napkin. When he's leaving, the manager comes to the table, writes on the back of a business card, $5 off chicken. Did you like the ribs? Loved them. You got to try my chicken. Come in for the chicken. Now I'm prompting a second visit, not with a printed coupon, a handwritten card. Now he comes in for the second visit, drops the business card on the table. Everybody knows this is a second visit because red napkin was the first visit. Second visit, you finish the meal, you go up, you say, so how was the chicken? It was freaking great. Are you full? Totally stuffed. Man, next time you got to try my cheesecake. Free piece of cheesecake. Now, 3 visits. Ribs cost
Wait, a
me
pizza?
A piece of cheesecake.
Oh, I thought a pizza flavored cheesecake. I was like, that's fucking brilliant.
So the rib dinner cost me $5. The chicken was a washout because it was a discount.
That's right.
The cheesecake is $1.35. For about $6, you got 3 visits out of him with a 70% likelihood of a fourth. That's the way you market a restaurant within the 4 walls of it.
That is huge, right?
Chandler, let me give you one more for the road, mister. There was a very interesting thing that Jon said, because I grew up in that environment too. And Jon's from the traditional marketing world that we grew up in, pulling from his world. Notice how he said, first-time customer, I'll give it to you. Because the traditional retail and bar thing is like, look, it's more like if you've already got somebody in the funnel, the cost of acquisition for a newbody is very, very, very powerful. I used to do that too, but it was tricky, right? Because now some of your old-time customers may see that, and they've got that angst of, wait a minute, why am I being not treated that way as a loyal customer? You just want new people, and it's always been a friction for us, right? In the right? Now, I just went to Instagram, right? I typed in Lexington, Kentucky. Got it?
Yes, sir.
I'm looking at 9 posts right now that are top posts, and ungodly amounts, unlimited amounts of people's posts that are from Lexington, Kentucky. I went down all the way down, and that's from 48 minutes ago. 40 pictures down, 48 minutes ago. Thousands of people are posting right now on Instagram from Lexington, Kentucky. I go to the top 9 posts. I click the middle one. It's a nice little cute couple, right? They got 298 likes. Abby, she's from somewhere. She's part of a sorority, it looks like. She has 2,387 followers. There's a triple dot in the top right corner on Instagram. I hit it. It lets me send her a message. I send her a message. Abby, see you in Lexington. We love being part of Lexington. Here's a $20 off coupon, $10 off coupon, free chicken. Only she sees it. You're grabbing somebody who has a big social media profile. You've not hurt any of your loyal customers like me and Jon had to back in the day. She comes and she posts a picture of the food and creates word of mouth. Now that $5 acquisition created no friction to loyal customers. And because she's now media, she amplifies it, and you're getting an $80, $500, $4,000 media amplification against your $5.
And last one thing, don't discount. People get addicted to discounts. They don't get addicted to free.
That's right.
So
that's the one thing we've probably done right that we've never wavered on with discounts. I mean,
right.
You don't cheapen the product for sure. Well, guys, I appreciate this, and I just want to say one thing. When I separated from the Air Force 3 years ago now, I watched a ton of our rescue, and I watched a ton of Gary's content, and you guys and the content you put out really helped me build this business from literally we were a tent on the side of the road to now we have our a brick and mortar business with very little debt on it, and that's something you guys helped me with. So I am eternally grateful, and if you're ever in Lexington, first rack of ribs is on me, and no red napkin needed. So
and I'll end with thank you for what you've done for this amazing country that has created a framework for us to be all able to do this.
That's right.
All right. And if anybody out there, YouTube, LYLES Barbecue Company, check us out.
I love it. Good plug at the end. Jon, this was such a pleasure, my friend.
Pleasure. Same.
I really enjoyed this. Yeah, we should definitely do this again. Now, it's customary.
You're going to be watching me the next few days when I go on?
Are you on this? Are you going to be on?
No, I'm going to do what you advised me to do.
100%.
I am the next week going to focus on working on this and connecting greater.
Let's clap this up, team. I'm excited about that.
I want you to take a peek. Give me a little advice next
Well,
week.
the best part is the Vayner Nation. Tens of thousands of people are about to bother you. This is a piece of cake for me. I'm just going to chill. John, the guest gets to ask the question of the day. So you're going to get thousands of answers on YouTube and Facebook. What question do you want to ask them? A selfish consumer insights one for you, a general one, something that's funny to you. What question of the day do you have to take us out?
You know, I have a rescue tour that starts on July 10th. I'm going to 27 cities in 6 weeks to teach small business people how to make money.
I love it.
And it's my passion. It's a 3.5-hour program, means the world to me.
Okay.
I want to hear from everyone. What is the most important thing that I could teach them to increase their revenues, improve their business? I think I know what it is, but I'd love to hear it from them. What is most important to you? Because that's what I want to do.
I appreciate it, my friend. You keep asking questions, we'll keep answering them. On this episode, we're going to rescue you. Awesome. John,
Pleasure.
such a pleasure.
A lot of fun.
That was a lot of fun.
I got to tell you, I'm going to do it. You inspired me.
You know what? I believe you. And what's really funny to me